Hey guys, welcome to Living Tomorrow Today. My name is Julio.
And I'm Nicole. So, how do you determine how fast that you want to travel? Do you go slow? Do you go fast? And how do you come up with the right solution? So in this video today, we're going to be talking about what we did and what helped us choose the right travel pace for us.
This is really, I guess, a personal decision that you make as a family, and it's also something that you're going to figure out on the road. There's a couple of different factors that go into it. And we were talking about it before we started recording. I mentioned to Nicole that before we hit the road, the thought of traveling in the same week or even like every 7 days regularly seemed like a very doable thing, and it seemed like it wasn't a big deal.
Yeah, I think when we envisioned our RV life, it was very quick. It was a very quick turnover and move, drive, travel.
And now that we've traveled from South Padre Island in the southern tip of Texas to the middle of Maine, we've learned that traveling at a quick pace, not that it's not for us all the time, it really doesn't create a good family environment.
Yeah.
I think some factors that might make that easier, or if we had a different rig, if it was just the two of us, things like that would probably make it a lot easier to move. But since that's not the case, I think moving at a quick pace has become something that we don't try and do as much. So let's go back and dig a little deeper into some of the things we mentioned.
So I think something that's really important to know is kind of what are your goals? What plan do you have envisioned in your head while you're traveling?
Or like how long you want to travel.
Yeah, how long you want to travel. Do you plan on this being a lifestyle that you're going to carry out for, at least a good solid 5 years, something like that? Or
That's a good point.
do you plan on doing it for a few months or maybe just a year? So for us, we set a goal of we wanted to do it, or we set not necessarily a goal, but we said we wanted to do it at least for 1 year. So because we only have a year, we are on a little bit of a faster timeline versus if you had a lot more time.
And it may seem like a year is a long time to travel, but it really just starts to fly by.
I mean, we've already been on the road how many months?
I think we're probably in our fourth, living in the RV, because we spent a little bit of time stationary living in the RV before we actually started traveling. But I think it's been like 4 months now
of actual travel time.
Yeah.
So.
And it just flies by. You forget where you were last week or 2 weeks ago. And
very true.
We have bypassed so much to get here. And
I mean, we've made it to just about every single state within the East Coast. However, I mean, we go to one town within that state, and we might travel in a small radius around there. But I mean, there's still, even if we traveled 30 minutes down the road or 45 minutes down the road and stayed there, we haven't seen those areas. We miss out on so many things, even though we're trying to see as much as possible.
Yeah. And one thing that I have found out as we were traveling is that having a smaller rig would make it easier to see some of the sites we've passed, because we are still really new at this, and I'm still getting comfortable pulling a 37-foot travel trailer in a big F-250. I don't feel, I'm afraid of if we see something, if we see a sign on the highway that tells us about a cool attraction or something like that, I don't want to exit because I'm afraid I'll get stuck and I won't be able to turn around,
just getting into a situation.
I just imagine all this nightmare of taking the exit, especially when I don't know the roads where we are. That is something I think that, and that kind of doesn't really deal that much with, how fast you move, but, it does, when you move quick, I think it's because you want to see more things. And if it was easier or we felt more comfortable pulling into places spontaneously, we would get that feeling of seeing more in less time. So that's kind of why I mentioned it. So,
back to traveling.
Yes. Another huge factor that is going to determine your actual travel speed versus what you may want to do is finances. Going back again to when we were thinking of doing this, we were like, yeah, we can go fast and whatever, but that means more gas as well. And not only, or diesel fuel if that's what you're driving, but not only is it more fuel because you're going longer distances quicker, but it's more fuel when you get to where you're going and you have to drive to whatever attractions you want to see. And also, the more you move, the more you want to go see and do. And
then the more money you spend.
Just about everything costs money. And I can't tell you how many times we have left the house saying we're not going to go out to eat. And
this guy
we go out to eat.
Always looking for pizza.
Especially, you know, if there's a new brewery. Well, everything's a new brewery to us.
Yeah.
Or something like that. So it's very easy to spend the money on things like that. So finances is a huge deal. And it's something that if you are just getting ready to jump into this lifestyle, you really want to take that into consideration. At least the amount of fuel that it's going to cost to go at a fast pace. Something that affects our pace is our 1,000 Trails membership.
Which that'll be another video.
Yeah, we'll get into all of that in another video, and there's tons of videos that you can look up as well, but that really dictates our pace. And just, you know, to give you an idea of what I'm talking about is the membership that we have. We can stay in most 1,000 Trails parks for a maximum of 14 days, and then we have to be out of the system for 7 days.
Like I said, we started off going really, really fast, and I think that's typical because you're so excited and you're so like, let's get this going. And I mean, you can't believe you plan and plan and plan and you envision for so long, and then all of a sudden, like, it's happening. And so you're just really excited and you want to get on the road, and then you start to realize that you're tired. I would say we went through a phase where, at least for me, like, I was stressing out a lot. I mean, because I have this thing in my head where it needs to be clean. On travel days, like, we have to clean everything and it has to be clean before we can close up the trailer and we can travel. So when we were traveling every 4 days, it was like, we have to do this, have to do this, have to do this. And it became more just checking off things from the list instead of being able to enjoy it and, you know, be a little bit more spontaneous. Trying to get accustomed to our expectations of each other as well. I mean, you're in your house and you kind of have your routine, and I mean, this is starting all over. So you have to get set up in your expectations of each other. You know, he kind of takes care of the outside, I take care of the inside, you know, and you might get a little frustrated with each other. So I think by slowing it down some and not moving so quickly, it took a lot of that pressure off. It took a lot of that stress away.
Another consideration that you want to consider, something else you want to consider, something else you want to consider, that was totally
you're gonna have to leave that. You're gonna have to leave that in. How the turntables have turned.
The prodigal,
the prodigal returns.
Another consideration is the wear and tear on the RV, and that is something we had really never considered or even thought about. And it definitely shows. If you guys are just landing onto our channel, we bought this brand new. This is a 2019 Crossroads Zinger, and
I think we're still happy with it.
We're still happy with it, but
nothing's been major. But our walls are starting to warp.
Things are just kind of probably every RV is not made. No matter what they tell you, there's maybe very few brands, but they're not made for constant travel. I think they're better suited for going to a destination, staying there for a while, going back to your house, being parked for a couple of months, going to one more place. But this constant travel, and really, I guess it's like anything else. I mean, we drive the truck more. I mean, everything is getting more wear and tear. But when it happens in the RV, which is also our home, it just becomes a little scarier because, one, everything is new to us, and like Nicole said, some of this stuff, I don't even know what this is. It's like just a thin panel,
like particle board paneling,
is starting to warp in some places, and some of the stuff on the slides from the inside is starting to pop out, like a tape or something. I'm not sure what it is.
Oh yeah, our kitchen slide back here behind the camera. There's some kind of like black tarp stuff underneath that was sticky, and now every time that the slide goes in and out, it's starting to like starting to come undone, basically. So
Staples are starting to pop out.
yeah, we have staples,
which
coming
probably
up
has
out of
something to do with the warping.
Yeah.
So little things like that. What would be a good travel pace, do you think, for a family similar to ours that is giving themselves about a year as well? Like, what do you think would be a good starting pace?
I would say, like, maybe when you're just starting out, try like 9 days in one place and see how that goes. You're gonna take off and you're gonna be excited, and I'm sure you're gonna go really, really fast too. And I think it's inevitable. I mean, you're just so excited and of all the things to come.
You're going to be most excited probably about leaving your own state.
Never been to the east side, and I'd always wanted to come and get lobster. Lobster.
Yeah,
Just one lobster, yeah.
just one, sure. The number's gonna be 4.
4? Okay.
Which we did. And so it's really, really exciting to be in new places that you've never explored and all that kind of stuff. And
Another reason we were moving so quickly was because we were trying to make it to a specific event, which was the New Hampshire,
the Highland
The
Games,
Highland Games.
which we'll put some footage of that in there.
Yeah. That was in late September
Yeah.
20th or something like that.
And we needed to be in New Hampshire for that.
we knew we needed to be there, so that was really affecting how fast we moved. I think that if we didn't have that self-imposed timeline, we probably would have gone a little slower. That's kind of our thoughts on it. I know there's nothing concrete because it really just comes down to what you want to
Personal
do.
preference.
I do think what you think you want to do now will probably change a few months into your new RV lifestyle, and if it does, just go with it. It's no big deal. A slower pace, which is for us now at about 2 weeks, feels pretty good. It allows us to go somewhere and kind of not feel this pressure to see everything immediately. It allows us to live more of a normal life as opposed to vacation. If we have days where we don't go out and do anything, just like we would in our house, in our sticks and bricks house, we feel okay with that, because one thing that kind of does bug me is if we go somewhere for like 4 days and we stay inside the RV, because I'm like, we're only here for 4 days and we're leaving. Like, I want to see everything. Hopefully you guys found this video helpful. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. Give us a thumbs up if there was anything that you liked. And
maybe we
also,
just totally glossed over something and forgot to bring it up and mention it.
And of course, hit that subscription. It doesn't
notification bell.
It doesn't really do anything for us. It just makes us look cooler.
Yeah.
And we will see you guys at the next video.
Bye. See you on the flippity flop.
That's right.